Hey, what's up? Total Schmidt Show. Thanks for being here. Am I looking at the right spot? I don't know. I'm taping on my phone. Hey, what's up? Total Schmidt Show. Thanks for being here. Another Tuesday. We're 2 weeks in a row, right? 3? I don't know. Whatever. We hit this week. This week, Sarah Krantz is my guest. Another interview from quite some time ago. Sit back, relax. Welcome to Total Schmidt Show. Hey, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. How you doing? I'm back at sea. Here's what you're going to get from this show. It's kind of like quarantine comedy, except I'm not going to be home. Actually, it's kind of like quarantine comedy and a combination of all the stuff I've done online over the last year or so. There's sketch stuff, live stuff, stand-up stuff, travel stuff, and of course, conversations with others who do the same things that I do on a daily basis. That's it. That's the whole show. And I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? Maybe. Sort of. Could be. Either way, sit back. I hope you enjoy whatever the hell it is I put together for this week on Total Schmidt Show. Hey guys, welcome to Total Schmidt Show. Thank you for tuning in every Tuesday, for the most part. We are here. We're talking to entertainment professionals that tour all over the world. People I run into when I'm touring. If you've watched the show before, thank you for being here. Do me a favor, like the video. It really helps me out big time. Subscribe to the channel. It helps me immensely. It doesn't cost you a dime. It would really help me out. The more subscribers, the better for me, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff I can monetize. Also, if you watch the video, throughout the video, there's a little ticker at the top. Pay if you can. That's how I roll on my video on my YouTube channel on the LennySchmidtComedy network. Is pay if you can. Watch whatever you want for free. Costs nothing, but pay if you can. Go to payifyoucan.com. There's all kinds of payment options. PayPal, Venmo, CashAPP. That's how I pay to shoot these videos. I'm taping this at home today. It's Saturday. I'm watching the Foo Fighters Taylor Hawkins tribute concert as I'm doing this. Editing the video. It's been a long morning. However, I'm getting ready to leave tomorrow for the Norwegian Encore. My last 2 weeks in Alaska this year, and ironically, I taped this video almost a year ago on this very same ship with my good friend Sarah Krantz, who's a stage manager at Norwegian Cruise Lines. At the time, she was the stage manager for Kinky Boots as they joined this ship last year. It's a little different. It's a little behind the scenes. She's more of a manager, producer, and we get to talk about her and her pursuits and working cruise ships and stuff, and some backstage stuff, which is kind of cool. But it was great to talk to her. She's a really good friend of mine. I got a ton of respect for her. She works her ass off, and she did a great job with Kinky Boots. So do me a favor, sit back, enjoy, and watch my interview, my discussion with Sarah Krantz. It starts very fast, very quick, very quick. Here we go. 3, 2. I worked with you on your first contract anyway.
Yeah.
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 So
very first.
So 3 years you've been on ships.
4 years. Yeah. 2017 October. So almost 4 years. Yeah.
What have you done the whole time that you were here?
I've done this is my 5th ship contract. I've had a couple of different titles, but all stage management, dealing with guest entertainers, production shows, bingo, all that kind of stuff. But yeah. But 5 years almost on ships. What
how did you end up getting here? Like, when you came from, did you come from a theater background, or?
Yeah, so I actually have a degree in theater arts from Boston College. Go Eagles! But I graduated in 2015 from Boston College, and then I'd always kind of wanted to work on ships and doing entertainment and stage management. My degree is kind of a general theater degree, but I stage managed, I did scenic design, I directed, and stage management felt like the most stable career path of those. And so my first year out of college, I was actually a nanny. That's like what I do when I'm not stage managing. So I was a nanny in Boston, and I started putting out feelers for cruise lines. I actually had an interview with a cruise line that I have never worked for. They were like, we want you to get a little bit more experience stage managing. So I worked for an arts festival, I worked for an opera company, and then I got my current job on cruise lines, and it's been, the rest is history.
What did you major on in school? What's your major?
Theater arts is and it was a BA. So it was not really a specific stage management degree,
right?
But we kind of dabbled in everything. So,
yeah. My daughter's doing, Anna's doing, what's it called? Digital film and television production.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I always, like, when she was little, I always thought she would be like a director or a producer. She's the organizer. She like your route.
Yeah.
And then my youngest daughter is nuts, and she's like performance.
Yeah.
So when I just talked to Anna this week, because she's into her junior year.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm pretty sure I want to be a producer.
Yeah.
Which is kind of along the lines
cool.
what you're doing. I mean,
Yeah.
you basically produce.
Yeah, producing is definitely a long-term goal of mine as well. Like having, as a stage manager, the job is quite technical and you don't have a lot of creative license.
Right.
But I have quite a creative brain, so I've always wanted to go more into producing and conceiving projects and things like that.
Yeah.
So that's definitely where my like long-term goals would be, to move more away from stage management and more towards producing or directing, having a little bit more of control over the creative process as well.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
you said you always wanted to work on a ship. You thought about that. Did you really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, my parents actually met doing theater in the 80s. So theater's always been in my blood. So they've been very supportive of my lifestyle.
I'm so old.
The 80s.
I'm so old. You're like, oh, I graduated in 2015. Well, that's awesome. I was getting divorced around that.
Yes, well, no, I know. My birthday's in a couple weeks, turning 28 soon. But
when is it?
The 30th, September 30th.
Hannah's birthday's the 26th.
Yeah.
My oldest.
Yeah. It's a good time to be born.
Yeah.
It's actually my mom's birthday today, so happy birthday, Mom. But yeah, so I've always loved theater, and I've done theater since like elementary school. But my parents are big cruisers. They're actually coming out to cruise with me in a couple of weeks. And they would always go on like the behind the scenes tours and talk to the stage managers and be like, how do we get our daughter a job? And truly like, and now when I do tours, I have people that are like, my daughter loves theater. How can, so it's very much a pay it forward kind of thing, and giving advice on how to get a foot into the industry. But I just always loved the idea of working on cruise ships as entertainment, because it's kind of like touring, that you get to see all these places, but you only have to unpack once. You get there, you unpack,
cool.
and then you're there. You don't have to fly all over and have hotels and things like that. You're just in one place, but also in many places all at once. So
Yeah, and they bounce the ships around at different, like when you do the crossing. You know what I mean? You don't just do Alaska forever.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been to Asia, Europe, the Caribbean a whole lot. It's my first time in Alaska. But yeah, it's just been amazing.
What ship in Asia?
I was on the Joy in Asia back when it was for the Chinese market, so all of our guests were from China as well.
How'd that go? I heard
it was amazing. It was actually my favorite contract. It was quite interesting because I couldn't communicate with the guests because I don't speak Mandarin.
That's good. But like, that was my favorite contract. I can't communicate with you.
No, it was my favorite contract because I couldn't speak to the guests. No, it was my favorite because for a couple of reasons. I had a really wonderful team. The technical team and the cast were just fantastic to work with, and we were very close knit because we couldn't communicate with a lot of other people. Right. But it also just showed me that like entertainment and theater is so universal. These shows can be enjoyed by anyone. Right. So it was so much fun. And Asia, Japan is amazing. It was just like everywhere you looked, there was something to see, and just the culture was incredible. So I
would love to go. I've never gone over there.
Yeah.
It's one place I haven't been. I had a buddy that lived in Japan for years.
Yeah.
Like literally 4 years, and that would be cool. It's just so, going into a different, I like to travel. Yeah. Because I like to go to different places, and I like to experience different places. Like when, even the only place before I did ships, I went to, my ex is from Croatia. And her sister got married in Zagreb. So we flew to Zagreb for a week. It was my first trip ever anywhere. Yeah. So I walked around, I got a haircut. I told the story the other day. I got a haircut. And went around, and nobody speaks English. Yeah. And I speak bad Croatian. Yeah. And I met these two guys, but they had a Bulls shirt on, and it was back during the Bulls run when they were really popular. And these guys are like, "Oh, Michael Jordan!" I go, "Hey, what's?" Hey. Yeah. And I sat down, and they cut my hair, and we had some rakia, and we drink. It's a grass. It's a liquor they make out of grass. Yeah,
that's cool.
And it's cool if you make it like if they sell it in stores, it's just crap. But like if they always everybody in Croatia has like a bottle. With a pop, and you're like, what's that? Trust me. You're like, okay. So we're drinking that. But they cut my hair, and we communicated somehow. And I got a good haircut and left and went for the wedding. It was the best afternoon ever. It was so much fun, man.
No, it's so amazing. And see, sports are universal too. Theater's universal. Like, there's so many ways we can communicate with people you never would. Right. Be able to. So, yeah, that's really
pretty cool. That's awesome. I find it funny that most people end up on ships. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I started.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna go work on ships. Yeah. And I love, but now today's a great example. Yeah. I'm talking about working on a ship. Yeah. Because we're rocky today.
It's very rocky today.
And you have first of all, you have a bit of an advantage because there's not a heavy production show tonight, right? There's just the
yeah. There's a singing group on tonight.
Yeah,
yeah.
So you don't have to deal with because normally for me as a comic, is a day when I would get a call.
Yep.
And hey, can you do a show? Yeah, because they don't care about the comics. They'll throw us out.
We'll
there.
give you a stool and you can sit down and
just
deal
hold
with
on to the stool and entertain the people.
It was rocky last night for your show. It was really rocky.
No, I did a little bouncing around. Yeah. There were a couple times I heard the crowd laugh.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
ooh, here we go. Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
But I'm so used to doing it now. There's a couple ships where there's some clubs that have a pole near the stage.
Just hold on.
I've held on to a pole. I'm like, hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah.
It's cheers are moving.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't get a lot of bouncing around.
Yeah.
But the reason I bring it up because the juggling you do.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks, and plus other curveballs we've had the last few weeks.
Yeah.
You know, we have a schedule, but it changes.
It changes.
Yeah, in like a day.
No, it's true, and we always make that joke, but it's very real. If we can't do the production show, the comic, I make that joke on my behind the scenes tours. They're like, "What do we do for Rocky's shows?" I say, "I call the comedian."
Sure.
Because that's all I can do, you know. Or even the vocalist. Like, it's not fun to perform on a Rocky night, but it's at least safer than a production show.
Well, the last because you guys have, I mean, especially here on this line, in Norwegian, you have. I mean, Kinky Boots is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You guys don't mess around. It's not just like, let's do a show about music.
Right. It's a full, I mean, it's not the full Broadway show, but it's pretty darn close. Yeah. And, I mean, that show has drag queens dancing in 4-inch heels on treadmills on a moving ship. So, yeah. And last night it got a little bumpy. That was about as rough as we would do that show. You know, if it was
you guys were close on that. I didn't think about that.
It was cutting it a little bit close.
Because they were 7:30 right before us.
Yeah.
And we were just starting to get heavy coming out of Catch a Can, right?
Yeah. And then the finale of that show, everyone is in those 4-inch boots, and that's when it got the rockiest. And I was like, oh, and it's a little dicey, but
you have people in those boots that'll never be in those boots again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Some of our cast have never, like the male cast members have never worn heels in their life. It was so funny in rehearsals because in the show they only wear them for about 4 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes of the show. But when you learn that number, it's 8 hours in those shoes. And they're like, I have so much respect for women now. And I'm like, this is what it took you to have respect for women, was trying on shoes. I'm kidding, but they were like, oh, I'm so tough. I'm like, just remember, today when we learned this number, it was 8 hours. In real life, you'll wear them for 10 minutes. You'll be okay,
Yeah, I always, my daughters are always, now they're getting to that age where they're just giving me crap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm always like, oh, it's tough to be a girl.
Yeah.
And like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
So,
it's true.
and hanging with Melissa, because I had Melissa on the show,
and
I went to her cabin. And man, the stuff she travels with, I'm like, what is all this?
Yeah, the extensions, the eyelashes, everything. Yeah.
Not to mention the 90 different shades of whatever.
Yeah.
I go, why do you need all this?
Yeah.
Trust me. I'm like, okay, all right, fine, whatever. So working backstage has got to be so to see guys throw that stuff on. That blows me away. It's a beautiful show, by the way.
Yeah.
I've done Alan and Cameron. I think I've had on this, I've interviewed.
Yeah.
And I love the message behind the show.
It's so good.
I want to bring my youngest daughter to see that show so bad.
Yeah. I saw it on Broadway in 2017. 2016, 2017. And it was like, I was just crying through the finale. It's just so beautiful. So, yeah, I love Kinky Boots.
It's great. Where so now your parents are going to be here in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, they're coming out for our last cruise in Alaska. My parents have been cruisers forever, for decades, and they really love it. And they are, like, we joke that they come to see me, but they mostly come for the cruise itself and to bring me like clothes and toiletries. Like,
I'm here to see my daughter.
Yeah. Because
bye, and they leave.
Exactly. But it's fun. They come on almost. The only contract they didn't come on was the one in China and Japan because it was too hard to get them out there. But they've come to visit me every time I've been on ships, which is really nice.
Where are they at now?
My parents live in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Okay.
And they are enjoying retirement to the fullest.
Good for them.
They just got their 3rd booster shot this week, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
So I was like, please get a booster before you come, traveling halfway across the country. So that's good. But yeah, no, they love cruising. They do it as often as they can. I think they were missing cruise ships more than I was during the pandemic.
I know.
Well,
I have a huge group of, when I started doing the shows, I have a Patreon page and I stayed in touch with people that follow me on ships.
Yeah.
Like even now, there's 4 people on this ship that I know from previous ships.
Yeah.
Because they're always on, like we're talking about Facebook. It's a great example.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You're on the Encore, right?" I go, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, I'm going to be there this week."
Yeah, our guests and returning guests, like they know. I mean, they have favorite cruise directors, they have favorite comics. Like it's so fun to just like bump into people. I have this one. We have the show Burn the Floor on a couple of our ships.
Yeah.
And there's this one guest. I don't remember her name, but she's a Burn the Floor super fan, and she cruises on the ships with that show all the time. And like she comes on my behind the scenes tours, and I recognize her at this point because she's just like loves that show, so she follows that show around on our ships, which is just like it's very cool to know how much of an impact we do have on people with our entertainment. You know?
People are.
Yeah.
I'm amazed how there's a group of 4 people. We went to the steakhouse for dinner last night. Excuse me. And there was a group of 4 people there for an anniversary, and they came up and they were just they're so grateful for the show.
Yeah.
They're like, you bring so much joy, like for everything. You know what I mean? It's amazing when people cruise. They don't just cruise.
Yeah.
You know, it's a whole experience.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Otherwise, they just fly around to the different places.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. No, I think it's so much fun to just be able to provide that kind of joy and like release and, you know, a break from reality in real life. I was just saying we obviously we don't have kids on board yet, but seeing a kid see a show for the first time, whether it's the magician or the production show, like I mean, theater's been a part of my life since before I was born, but for kids, you know, to see their first ever show is just such a blessing to see that, you know.
I used to bring when I got divorced, I had the kids for the whole summer. So the deal was I either brought the kids with me on cruises during the summer because they were minors, they were little kids, or B, I didn't work. So I worked out a deal where I could bring the kids on a couple of lines I worked for. So I would go, "Hey, I'm going to be 6 weeks. Can I bring the girls?" Yeah, and we'd work it out. And this went like 3 or 4 years in a row. We did this, and they got so used to it that they're little cruisers. You know, they walk around. But and you know this is an employee or somebody, a crew. You kind of love to see kids on the ship or like crew members' kids. So they saw their first live stage show on a ship. And I remember that they were so excited, and I used to teach them acting and. I've taught improv and acting class, but they also came backstage with me during my shows and stuff, and that's where I taught them the don't touch anything backstage.
Exactly.
Because they're like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Don't." And they're like, "Why?" And then you have no idea. That's in that spot. Because
I still have to remind professional actors of that, so I teach them young.
That's funny. I can't believe you don't remember that, because in the rule, if we're explaining now, the reason is when you're backstage, especially. I was talking to Alan about this during Kinky Boots. When you walk, I didn't realize how many wardrobe changes he goes through in a show. So every scene he gets off, he's changing completely. And while you're changing, you're grabbing things and not looking.
And if it's not where it's supposed to be,
it's gonna be exactly in that spot. And if it's not, you're like, what the? And it could throw a whole thing off. I
always say that there's just as much choreography backstage as there is on stage, if not more. And that's really where things can go wrong. Is if you thought that your purse or prop or whatever was someplace and it's not, you know, it could throw the whole scene. So because you can't. There's no cut. You know, exactly. Live theater.
That's one of the things I love about live theater, man. It's like it's all happening
always
right
different.
now.
There's always something going to be a little bit different, which is fun. Otherwise, it would be film. You know, just the same thing every time. So
that's why I loved watching the tech at Kinky Boots, because there were like 2 or 3 things that happened. They were minor, but I caught them because like one was the thing rolled away on Stephanie a little bit, and 2, when Cameron was moving for the last scene, actually that was the only time they had to stop. They stopped everything. And then whatever that was, they fixed, because I haven't seen it happen during the show yet.
You know, it's funny with the treadmills in Kinky Boots number. They're like conveyor belts in the factory. And our stagers, you know, haven't put Kinky Boots on the ship before. They've done the tour and they've done some other regional productions. And the treadmills have brakes in them so that they don't move when the cast are dancing on them. But we also have to brake them backstage because we're on a moving ship. Whereas normally when you're on land production of Kinky Boots, you don't need to break the treadmills when they're backstage because they're not on a moving ship. They're not going to go anywhere.
They're not going anywhere,
you know? And so it's just interesting because they hadn't thought about that, and they're like, "Oh, I guess you do have to," and it just uses up more air. It's just things you wouldn't think about. Because last night, if they weren't, they're 1,100-pound treadmills, but if they weren't braked, they would have been moving last night.
That number blows me away. There's 3 or 4 of them.
4 of them.
Okay, well, they split them out. That's such a great number.
So cool. It
looks, every time I see it, I'm blown away. I mean, everybody's on a treadmill bouncing around. The choreography behind it's got to be insane.
It's amazing. No, it's really, really cool. I remember when I saw they did that number in the Tony Awards, so that was the first time I like really was aware of Kinky Boots back in 2013, I think. And I saw that and I was like, oh my god, the genius behind, like, who would have ever thought of drag queens on treadmills in a musical, you know? It's so cool. It's just so creative.
Well, that's why I got to get Lily to see it because
Yeah.
A, she loves theater.
Yeah.
But B, she loves drag queens.
Yeah.
She's like
drag queens are very mainstream now. You know,
she's so into
cool.
it. I'm like,
Yeah.
Lily, you got to see the show. It's gonna
Yeah.
be amazing. I would love to bring her. I want to try and bring her on this ship actually,
Yeah.
like next year during the break.
Yeah.
And try to get out there and see it.
Well, that's what's so cool about like with our company and other lines as well, like having these like high quality production shows. You know, they come with the cost of your ticket. Like you get to see a Broadway caliber show for the price of your, included in your cruise, which is really cool.
Yeah, you know what's mind blowing to me too, because especially with Kinky Boots, I watched. This is the Alaska crowd. It's a little different.
Yeah.
So like I notice it as a comic.
Yeah.
When I do a show, like I love this crowd. First of all.
Yeah.
Like they're older. And that
Yeah.
kind of works for me. There's a lot of millennial stuff I can't do too much of.
Right.
But they listen to a story, they listen to a bit, they pay attention.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see how they reacted to a show like Kinky Boots.
It was interesting. I thought the audiences were they enjoyed it as a play, like the comedy side of it. They were laughing really well, but they weren't like applauding the way I would expect during the production numbers. So like usually when the drag queens like reveal themselves for the first time, like take off their trench coats, there's like a big hooping and hollering, and we didn't get any of that. But then they were laughing at every joke. So I was like, it's just interesting how each audience is different and changes the show as well. You know, a joke won't land here, but it'll land the next show. Same for you. You know, you as a comic, something's going to land and then not land tomorrow.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. This
Yeah.
crowd. It's funny. This crowd's a lot different than other crowds.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's also nice because most of these guys, it's their first contract back.
Yeah.
So we're all talking about that.
Yeah.
First of all of us are working again.
Yeah.
Which is great after 18 months of doing whatever the hell we were doing.
Yeah.
To survive.
Yeah.
Did you go back to? You said you lived with your parents. You were in
I do live
Virginia?
with my parents when I'm not on ships, which is normally like a couple months in between contracts. And this time it was 18 months.
Everybody does. It's hilarious. And it was a little longer, Mom.
It was a little bit longer. But no, I'm like I said, my parents are so supportive of my job and my lifestyle, and so they were supportive of me needing to be home as well. You know, but I sat around a lot. Because I signed off of my previous ship, essentially the day of the shutdown was always my sign-off date. So I went home March 15th, then I stayed home.
Oh, so you officially finished a contract?
I finished I was the luckiest person because I have so many colleagues that got stuck on cruise ships for quite a few months. But my sign-off date was the day of the shutdown.
Yeah.
So we got the news, and then I said, okay, bye. Like, hope to see you in a few months, you know, and then it was a little bit more than that, but... So I moved home to Williamsburg, Virginia, and my sister and her husband and kids live about 45 minutes from my parents. So I kind of split my time between them, which is great. They both have guest rooms for me. So I actually nannied my 2 young nephews in the fall of last year because we didn't want them to go back to daycare and things, you know, during the like height of the pandemic. So I nannied them for a little while while my sister is going back to school. She's becoming an audiologist. Which is fun.
Who?
An audiologist. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's a ear.
It's a thing now?
An ear doctor. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's studying to be an audiologist. So she went back to school, and you know, my nephews, we didn't want them to have to go to daycare with all the germs at daycare immediately.
Sure.
So I babysat them for a little while, and then I actually got a job as a census taker during the census, which was very fun. It was interesting. So driving around my town and you know, asking people the demographic questions for the census, it was really interesting.
It's also a lot during COVID.
Yeah.
Like now you're dealing with the public because there was a time when we didn't know.
Yeah, it was, they like had to delay the census because of that. And then it was happening in the summer. So we had to like double mask and walk around neighborhoods and things. And it was very interesting because people are they don't want to give their information. I'm like, well, it's in the Constitution. You actually have to. Sorry.
Kind of law, sort of.
Yeah. So that was an interesting job. Actually, I have a couple. The reason I got that job was another stage manager had said, hey, this job, you know, pays well hourly. Like here's something you can do in the pandemic. And so I did it. It was interesting.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yeah. And then I sat around a little bit more, waited for the cruise line to call me back to work. And then here we are.
Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah, I did. I was a lot of Uber Eats is what I did.
Yeah.
During the break,
Yeah.
and then I did this show, and then the Uber Eats was good because I could do it around whatever I was doing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, but then you know it all dragged out longer than I thought it would.
Right.
And then this is amazing for me because this is the first ship I've been back on, and first ship you back.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this is really the launch.
Yeah. No, yeah, I did do a workshop, like rehearsals back in April. The company called me back for some new projects. So I did get back in the rehearsal room back in April. That was interesting because some people were vaccinated already, but I wasn't vaccinated yet. So we were on very, very strict restrictions and things. And we didn't have any COVID cases during that, which was really great. Like we were really stuck with our protocols and things, kept everyone safe. So that was really exciting to be back to the rehearsal process, which is so much fun. And then just waiting for the call back to work.
It was such an interesting time because for a while I knew cruising was going to come back.
Yeah.
You know, but
it's a waiting game.
I know it was a waiting game, and then when it kind of like I thought it was going to come back last year in October.
Yeah.
Because they had talked about.
It's when they first started.
Yeah,
talking about it,
we were talking about dates and all this other stuff, and I'm like, yay!
Yeah.
And then and here we are. Then we're 4 months later. We're like, all right, we'll see what happens. But what's interesting to me is like I thought moving forward that COVID, we're not going to just get rid of COVID.
No.
You know what I mean? It's not going to be gone.
Yeah.
So now I knew the cruise line was going to have to find a way to reinvent itself, kind of be aware and somehow coexist with COVID.
Right.
Which has been the most interesting thing to me to watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why you see changes in protocols every week and all this stuff.
Yeah, we just got to go with the flow and figure things out.
And I was so angry during the shutdown because I thought cruising got such a bad rap.
Totally thrown under the bus.
100%. And everyone that complained about cruising either never cruised, or was on one cruise and didn't like it.
Yeah, already had a problem with cruising. No, it's true. It's so funny. My mom will go on the Facebook pages where people complain about cruising, and she's just like, no, they're trying so hard. You know, they're. But it's true. Cruise lines have always dealt with outbreaks of any kind of virus, and I do believe that cruise ships are the cleanest place. It's the cleanest place you'll ever eat.
Yep. The
codes that we have to stick to maintain operation with USPH and the CDC and everything. Yeah. You will never eat in a cleaner restaurant than a restaurant on a cruise ship. You'll never sleep in a cleaner hotel room than a room on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Especially this ship is so new. It's particularly clean, but it's people that do give it a bad rap don't really understand because we have to truly. You will not find a single bug on this ship. Like you can't say that for any restaurant in New York City that there's no bugs.
No way. Right.
So I really do think that we were. It took time, but set up to be able to handle this because we already are used to protocols for cleaning and sanitizing and quarantining and all that kind of thing. So
yeah, I had friends that were like, "You're not going back to ships, are you?" And I'm like, I feel safer on a ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even when COVID started in March, like right when it was starting, because I got off on the 15th too.
Yeah.
Not by choice, but it was one of those. We're going back home. Okay.
Yeah.
So for the week or two before, things were starting to happen.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Are you worried out there?" And I had a friend on the Princess ship that got stuck out of.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then when they screwed that one up. I mean, they really made some bad calls on that ship.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of paved the way for a lot of the crap we had to deal with, or those cruise lines had to deal with. And I was like, no, I feel safer out here.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like you're surrounded by 4 people at all times cleaning shit.
Yeah.
And like wherever you go,
anywhere there's someone
cleaning.
If you eat,
you're grabbing your plate. There, you should lean back, grab your napkin, do napkin. I mean, it's...
Truly, I felt fine on the ship, and then the minute I stepped into Miami airport, the anxiety, I clenched up. I was like, "There's so many people here," and I ran into a Hudson News to try to see if they had any face masks. The whole tray was empty. I was like, I wore a scarf wrapped around my face because we knew nothing then,
Right.
But yeah, I on the ship. I felt totally safe, and then I got into an Uber and got to Miami, and I was like, oh no, I don't, you never know. So, and then I got home, and my parents are older, so I stayed in my room for a week when I got home because we just didn't know
That's
anything.
smart because they're high risk and you don't know. Back then we had no idea what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and then I went and stayed with my sister for another week because I was like, I need human contact. I'd been away from my family for so long, but at least my sister and her kids were younger and
plus you were at the end of the contract too.
Yeah, so I was like, I hadn't seen
time for you to be like
homecoming exactly, and I was like, I was afraid to hug my parents when I got home because I just had no idea if I'd pick something up. So that was tough. I was like, I'll go hang out with my nephews. They're tough. They're little. They've got to meet,
what age? How old are your parents?
My parents my mom's birthday today. She turned 69 today. My dad is also 69. So
good for them, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, they're so cute. Yeah,
they're so cute.
Yeah.
Good. Well, it's good. They seem like are they good? Were they high risk? Or they? I mean,
yeah, they're fine. I mean, they were able to get the vaccine really early in January, actually, which was amazing. So they're fine. Like they're doing fine. And like I said, they just got their booster shot. So none of us ever had COVID that we know of.
Right.
So my sister and her husband were able to get the vaccine really early. It was just me that took forever because I'm, young. I wasn't an essential worker.
You weren't on any
so
of the
it
list.
just took a while. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so that we've all been happy and healthy, which is the most important thing,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got it early because I was Uber Eats, and in LA, and my oldest daughter worked in a restaurant.
Yeah, so you were qualified as.
Yeah, so we were food service, so we got it immediately. In fact, I found out the week of. Someone called me, hey, are you gonna get your shot? And I go, well, yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
And they go, well, you're up. What do you mean I'm up? So I found out about it. So my brother Mike and I both went as essential workers because we're Uber drivers. Yeah. And so we got it in March. First one March, second one late March.
That's so good.
And Anna got it right around the same time because she worked in a restaurant in Encino.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and in LA they didn't mess around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got our shots right away.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my sister got it because she was a healthcare worker. She works in a audiology clinic at school.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
And she has quite a lot of older patients because older people have hearing problems.
Right.
So she was able to get it really early, which is good. What?
What?
Huh? What? Huh?
I can't. What?
What? Yeah. So.
Well, you had well, man, good for you because then your COVID breakdown. It wasn't bad because when I did the show, I talked to so many people. It was something. There was such a mental health issue for everybody during COVID, especially in our line of work, because you're used to first of all, our whole life was pulled out from under us. Yeah. And obviously, many people went through harder things than we did. Yeah. But yeah, there was time. I mean, I've been doing this 30 years, so I'm like, there was a point where I was like, all right, what am I? I guess I'm going back to the restaurant business.
No, I mean, it was very hard. Like I said, I'm so grateful that my family's as supportive as they are, and that I was able to go home and be able to just kind of relax and try a few things and know that the job would be waiting for me. But it was tough. It was definitely tough. There were times like I had a really hard time. I know a lot of our colleagues did like pandemic entertainment via Zoom and things like that. I had a hard time watching it, frankly, because it was so sad to me. Like entertainment without an audience. I was like, I support you guys. Like, I want to like give you tips and things, but I had a hard time watching it because I was like, this is just, I'd rather just put on a movie, like this is just not, it's just not the same. Entertainment without a live audience doesn't feel the same to me. So I was like, I was so impressed by people who were able to do that, but it made me too sad. Like,
I know.
Well,
I did a lot of that. I did a lot of Zoom shows, a lot of live shows, a lot of live streaming shows. Yeah. And I mainly did it to stay creative.
Yeah, totally.
For me, I have a Patreon page, and then I would do a thing called Schmidt Show, which was once a month I would do stand up. Yeah. And I would just, all my Patreon fans it'd be a free Zoom, they'd watch it, and I'd work on new material. It was the only outlet I had.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think that was pretty cool because I think a lot of people learned new skills during the pandemic or tried new. I know Melissa added new songs to her show because she had the time to sit down and like create. And
all this stuff, I didn't do any of this before.
Yeah, like
COVID.
we learned so many new skills or like or new material, whatever it is. There was the time that we in our lifestyle, it's just go and from one gig to another. So I do think there were some benefits to having all that time off, but yeah.
Well, another huge benefit too. Look, I spent more time with my daughters in 18 months than I mean, there was a point in LA where there were 6 months in a row where we saw each other every single day.
Oh my gosh.
Every day. Yeah. And I got to be honest, like a lot of people are like, I was going crazy. I loved it. There was a lot of it I really liked.
That's how I felt with my nephews because they're so little. They're 2 and 4. And so when the pandemic started, Teddy, who's the little one, he was like just about to turn a year old, and then so cute. So I got so much time versus now, now that I'm on the ships, I FaceTime them like twice a week, and the connection's not great, and I don't get to see all the funny weird things they do. So that was definitely the best part.
And especially now we're in a situation where we're not getting off the ship in ports. Yeah. So it really affects our Wi-Fi because one of the only reasons to get off in ports sometimes is the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Yeah, is to go to like a Starbucks or whatever. I would go. I have a list of. I always make a list of shit to do.
I have like a list of Wi-Fi passwords for restaurants in Mexico that I've
been
to. Yes.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so you walk in. Well, I automatically sign in. Like I walk in, I'll boot right away. Bing. Like,
exactly.
Oh, but then I have a list of like 20 things. And it's funny. It's like people be hanging at the pool, like no name or something like that.
Exactly.
And I'm sitting there with my laptop and like, hey, let's go. I go. I need. I don't know, 40 minutes maybe. Yeah. And there's a list of emails and phone calls, bills, and all the other crap you're doing.
Yeah. And I was at No Name when the announcement came that we were shutting down.
Oh, no way.
Sitting at No Name Bar.
That's kind of surreal.
It was.
But they were sad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's that big crew bar in Cozumel, and all my cast were there, and I didn't have service. I was actually enjoying my day, and they got CNN announcements. Norwegian Cruise Line shutting down. Carnival Cruise Line shutting down, and they're like, Sarah, what's going on?
I've got
a margarita. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here. How would I know?
You're like sunning.
I was like, I guess I should go back to the ship and find out what's going on.
Well, at some point you're like, I don't know if I want to turn on my phone.
I really didn't want to. I was like, you know what? I'm not working in this moment. Like, I'm gonna finish my drink.
Look, I have 12 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
I have 12 minutes to just like being a parent with babies. You're like, I just need.
Yeah. You know what I did on the way back? I stopped by that pharmacy and I grabbed like 5 bottles of amoxicillin because I was like, I don't know anything about this virus. And in Mexico, you can get antibiotics over the counter. I was like, I bought like 5 bottles.
Take it all.
It's like, take it. I'm just gonna take it with me just in case. And then went back to the ship, and then all hell broke loose. So yeah, it was interesting. But
and then you went right back to Miami, right?
Yep. Right back to Miami, and then we got the news that all the guest entertainers were signing off, and then we all just left.
I gotta be again with the cruise lines not getting enough credit and being thrown under the bus.
Yeah,
I've always been amazed how they handle a situation like that.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're talking about a complete industry shutdown, right? Where they're like, and then everybody's got to get home.
Yeah,
and then there was here's the I always bring this up, like, and this is even before COVID. Things like hurricanes and deviations and all that stuff. I've always been blown away.
Yeah.
Because like we get off, I'm supposed to get off in Nassau. No, you're not. You're going to get off in Grand Turk, and we're going to
and we'll get you home somehow.
Yeah, but they figure it out. So I can only imagine what the office looks
like. It
like.
was wild because I don't know if you remember, but it was at first it was maybe we'll extend all the guests before the shutdown happened. Well, guest entertainers usually are on for 2 weeks or so. And
they did with me. I know where you're going. Yeah.
First they were going to ask everyone to stay an extra month because it was the transferring that was a problem. So I remember Melissa was on our ship, and it was like, okay, can you stay an extra month? She said, no problem. Great.
Right.
And then it was, okay, we're going to sign you off now. Okay, no problem. Okay, we're going to, like, the plans changed 4 or 5 times.
Right.
And then it was, we're getting you flights right now. You're going home,
Well, I was on a Carnival ship, and I got off in Nassau, and I was supposed to fly home in Nassau, and I went to the airport, and I got a phone call, and it was like, hey, can you go back to the ship and work?
You were already off?
Yeah, I was I was sitting in the airport.
Yeah.
And I go, I think so. I go, let me, and I actually had a Norwegian ship coming up a week later.
Yeah.
So I called my agent. I go, hey, what's up with the Norwegian gig?
Yeah.
He goes, I don't know yet, but it doesn't look good. And I go, all right. And I go, look, I'm going to stay on this ship.
Yeah.
And just go from there and see what happens.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, that's probably good move. So I go back to the ship.
Yeah.
So I have to sign back on.
Yeah.
And I get on. And I go, so what do we do? He says, can you stay? I don't know. Can you just stay?
Yeah.
There was no number.
Exactly.
And I go, at that point, I knew I was about 80% sure Norwegian was going to cancel.
Yeah.
And I go, okay, you know what? Yeah, I'll stay.
Yeah.
I go, just whatever you need.
Yeah.
So I sat down, and I got a call an hour later, and like, you're going home tomorrow. I go, all right,
okay,
whatever. And with them, they were like, and they told us, just get off and get home somehow. They didn't set us up with flights.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, but I got lucky. I got off in Miami.
Yeah.
And so they told me that, and I jumped to the computer immediately. And
yeah.
And I got a nonstop from Miami to LA. I was home that day.
Yeah.
No, I was lucky.
Yeah.
And I had friends on that ship that were going back to South America.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Or South Africa. It took her 3 months to get
June,
home.
Yeah. I had friends. I think it took until like June.
Yeah.
We had a ship. They did this like mass movement of crew over at our private island.
Right. Yeah.
And they moved crew over to different ships by nationality, and then the ships sailed back.
Yeah. Right.
Because there were no flights. Yeah. It was fascinating seeing everyone's social media posts about that, and all the like Brits and Europeans got on one ship, and all the Filipino and Indian crew on another, and then all the South American crew on another. It was just a logistical nightmare, but I think they handled it as best they could.
I'm completely blown away how the cruise lines, and I don't think they get enough credit. I'm not just saying that because I work on a cruise line.
Yeah, but it's true.
I was completely blown away by the way they handle that.
Yeah.
Because there was something else. Damn it, there was another story I was going to bring up. Oh, I know. One of the anytime there's a problem on a ship, the media, which I hate the media, by the way. I'm not a big fan of the media.
Boo.
Mainstream media. And anytime there's a problem with the ship, they run like flies.
Yes, yeah.
And
So
like, what
scrutinized,
happened?
yeah.
So there was a Carnival ship. I think honestly it was I want to say it was the Magic. I had a friend who was on there. Problem with an engine, so they left Nassau. They had cut the ports. So they gave people a choice. You can get off here and fly home.
Yeah.
And we'll take care of you, or you can come with us back, but it's going to be slow, and we're not going to hit any ports. It's your call.
Yeah.
And so some people chose and did whatever. And I remember when it got back into port, the news was there, like, what happened? And they're like, it was, this happened, and we stayed on the ship for an extra 4 days. Well, are you mad? And they're like, no, they were great.
Right,
we got a free cruise out of it.
Yeah.
We got an extra 2 days out of it. We get, they took care of everything. You're like, but it wasn't the vacation you wanted. And you go, but they were awesome, and they were.
That's what happens when you agree to a cruise ship. Like you said, with a hurricane, with anything, like anything can happen. Your ports could change, like things. Nothing's a guaranteed because we have to do whatever's safest. Like
but the media was CNN. I was standing in a crew mess watching the news with like a bunch of people. I go, look how hard they're trying to find angry people, and there's no one. Everyone's all happy. I got an extra 4 days. I got an extra blah blah blah. 10%. They knocked half off my price. Wow, how angry are you? I don't know. It's the best. Are you ever gonna cruise again? Yes. We're going in a few months. I laughed so hard. Like they're trying to find.
I know, it's like when that big container ship got stuck in the Suez Canal. I was like, thank God it wasn't a cruise ship, because we would never hear the end of it.
Oh God, it would have been the worst.
I was like,
this is why cruises. If I have to watch another story, like your mom cracks me up. It goes on Facebook.
Always on Facebook, like, defending it.
A lot of people that are on my Patreon page. They're cruisers. They watch all the time. So and during my show was live on YouTube, so it would be live on YouTube. So every once in a while somebody would come in. And they go, and they would ask, "Are you going to go back to cruises?" And we're all like, "Yes, we're going. Of course." I feel safer on a cruise than I do on Ventura Boulevard in LA.
Truly. My mom said ever since the shutdown, she's like, "I want to be on the first cruise because it'll never be cleaner than that first cruise."
And I was like, I tell people the thing. I was like, this is a great example. I was really happy to get called. I mean, I was one of the first 4 comics they called. I was really happy about that. But I knew. Like they were gonna launch, and then they did test cruises, and they postponed. And I was telling my friends, and they're like, "Are you gonna go back?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "Dude, look." I go, "When they sail, I go, they're gonna be so prepared." I mean, because if they do go out and there is a major outbreak, they're done. I mean, they're really in trouble. We're
just so scrutinized. No other place are we going to test 100% of people all the time, and like we're going to find every case because of our protocols.
100%.
And so it's going to look like it's more than.
It stands out because you're looking.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what I try to explain to people, and they're like, whatever. And I go, you're people
ridiculous. Don't understand math and statistics. So.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't get it.
Yeah, the numbers come up because we're looking for stuff.
Exactly.
So my thing, like I said, coming back my thing was going to be how to find a way to coexist with COVID moving forward. And so far, I mean, Norwegian's got a couple of ships out, Carnival's a bunch, and there's ships sailing. So they're finding ways to. We have to adapt.
And I think the most amazing thing is I don't know the specifics of how they were able to do it, but the cruise lines being able to get their crew members vaccinated, because a lot of our colleagues are from countries where 1-2% of the population is vaccinated. They just haven't had access. And so the fact that the company's been able to get crew members out here and get them vaccinated on board is just so amazing, because Americans are completely taking advantage of the fact that you could get a vaccine anytime you wanted. You could walk into a CVS at this point and get one. And that's just not the case in so many other countries. So just knowing that all of my colleagues from all over the world are able to get vaccinated here, and then when they go home, they're now protected. It's just so fantastic.
Yeah. No, that's totally one of the things. I was amazed. I've been on ships maybe 8 years now, roughly 8 years. I'm always amazed and blown away by the amazing crew that work on these ships. And the heavy load they carry. Like you, I mean, you're much busier and have more to do than I do. Like I'm lucky I do shows, but the people, the bartenders and the stewards on that turnaround day, which is crazy. If turnaround day is that's the hardest day of the week, I think. So it's when you go, explain turnaround day if you can.
So, but basically, I mean, we have, right now we have reduced capacity, but normally we'd have about 4,000 guests on the cruise. And so on turnaround day, all 4,000 of them get off. We clean the entire ship, change over like 2,000 cabins or however many cabins are on board. So like, it's like a hotel having an entire day where you turn it around.
Empty completely.
And then 4,000 new people sign on like 2 hours later.
Right.
And it is just crazy. And not to mention all those people's luggage. That's a huge part of the operation. Is just crazy. If you go down to crew quarters on the day of turnaround and the night before, it's just covered in luggage. Like there's so much. So we got to get 4,000 people and all their luggage off, clean everything, and then 4,000 new people and their luggage back on.
Right.
And all in all, we lose maybe 2 suitcases. I mean, like, it's just incredible how much they're able to do. And that day is probably a 12, 14-hour day for most people.
It's so hard. Those stewards work their ass off because the room stewards are the same guys that do the luggage.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's just a whole...
It's crazy. Yeah. It's so impressive. And you just know not to mess with any of them on turnaround day. Like, let them get in front of you and to get food. Like, it's just, it's really, really busy. So, yeah, we have just the hardest working people.
We were doing one of the... I think it was Princess or something. I was Princess or something. And we're downstairs on I-95 area.
Yeah.
And I was walking through with a newer comic. And they have a huge spread of food, like sandwiches and stuff. Yeah. And he goes, "Oh, can we have those free sandwiches?" I go, "No, you can't have those free sandwiches." He's like, "Why?" I go, "Because these guys, they have literally no time. Don't touch their food, don't touch their liquid, don't touch anything. Just keep moving, get out of the way, and leave them the stuff." I'm amazed how I learned so much about the world working on a cruise ship.
Yeah, truly.
You know, I mean, on every level. There's a guy I met on Carnival who's great. He's a cook, and we're having dinner one day. We're in the Masters eating. Starts talking, and he's a surgeon. He's a brain surgeon. He's literally a brain surgeon. Yeah. And I'm talking to him like, why are you a cook? And he goes, well, the paperwork to move into the United States and get it and be a citizen and get a job. He goes, it takes forever. Yeah. He goes, I have 4 kids. Yeah. I gotta feed the kids somehow. Yeah. And there's dozens of people that work on these ships in the crew that do that. Even more, one of the greatest moments I miss this so much. On Carnival, we used to do this. I don't think you can. I don't know if they do it anymore. But there's a lot of people in housekeeping, especially guys that play guitar and drums and sing. Yeah,
so talented.
We used to have a thing on the crew bar where there was a patio. Yeah. And late at night, they would come and they would bring in their equipment and type. And literally, it wasn't like loud, but we would sit there. Yeah. And man, they would just jam. It was like a jam session.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
And the singers would come from the show. Every once in a while, they would do a song. Yeah. And there was one guy I knew who was great. I loved him, but he knew Bon Jovi's "Living on a Prayer," but he only knew the chorus. So he would sing it over and over again. Yeah. So I would go in, I would buy a case of beer and bring it out for the guy. And then they had like a bag of rooster feed or food. Yeah. I mean, it was one of the... I went out there every night.
We have we don't have it right now, but I think they'll come back on some of our ships, a crew talent show as well. Yeah. It's so much fun. It's just like people just have so many hidden talents that you'd never know. Yeah. So it's so much fun. It's usually like a couple of cultural dances, some songs, like some guitar, like we're all a lot more than just our jobs. It's very, very cool.
Well, look at JP and Melissa. They're on the ship now. They both started as crew. Yeah. You know, they were. She was a playlist. He was a housekeeping or whatever, and then did Magic on the side, and that eventually became a performer.
No, it's so cool. I just love getting to know people outside of.
You also get a different view of our country because I talk politics. I mean, I'll sit around. I remember I was on a ship when Trump won the election. Yeah, and it was with a bunch of people from Croatia. I always end up talking to those guys a lot because my ex was Croatian. Right. And I used to sit around and talk to her dad for hours about politics. Yeah. And it's just so intriguing to me to talk about. I mean, the world looks at us differently.
Absolutely.
We're so sheltered in the U.S. Yeah. You don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's ever happened in the U.S. I mean, 9/11, of course. Yeah. But, talk to someone that has war in their village every day. Truly.
Or, like, if there's there's some like tsunamis and things that hit some of the home countries of crew members, and we always get an email immediately that's like, if you have any crew members from this region of India or Philippines, like, please inform them this happened. Like, we have standing by to help with any resources and things. There's always something. And I think working on cruise ships, you realize how small the world is, but also how large the world is as well, and how much we don't really know about what's going on elsewhere. Especially on the ships. It's so easy to get in the ship bubble too. We don't have, like you said, we don't have access to internet all the time.
Right.
We have like two
crappy news channels.
Two crappy news channels. Like it's very easy to forget about the outside world. And actually, like I've been on ships pretty much during the entire Trump administration, and it was kind of nice to be able to tune out what was going on as much as possible.
That was the hardest thing about COVID for me. Was being home and watching
constantly watching the news. Yeah.
Even now, like I watch some of the mainstream, and there's a whole Trump thing.
Yeah.
Like 3 days in a row has been a Trump thing.
Like, can we stop?
Yeah. It's
can we move on, please?
Yeah. They're only enabling him to come back, is what they're doing.
It's like Beetlejuice. You got to stop saying his name.
Yes. He'll go away.
Yeah.
It would be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was. It's amazing to talk to these people, and I love and respect every crew member. It's just amazing, and on top of that, they're so wonderful with the guests and pleasant constantly.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's really mind-blowing.
Yeah, especially right now, because like I mean, we as entertainers have been talking about how much we wanted to be back at work, but it's true for all of our colleagues. Like everyone is so happy to be back here. There's just this electric energy, I think, right now on board that we're just, we've only been sailing for a little over a month with guests, and everyone's just so happy to be back at work. We really do love what we do. Even the long, hard days, we're just so happy to be here. It's great, That's why we're here. We love to travel, meet people from other countries, see, we have beautiful views outside, getting to do our jobs. It's just like, it is a blessing. I mean, the hard days are hard, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
But I'm always like, you always look at I try to look at the positive.
Me too.
You know what I mean? And also anything worth having is worth working for.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into this, and I'm always blown away about the adaptability that you guys have to rearrange and move shows.
Oh man,
let's do this. Okay,
I think for next week we have Plan A, and then we have Plan A Part 2 and Plan A Part 4.
Well, was last week or the week before I got 4 different schedules.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm always amazed when people complain about that. I'm like, why would you? Everybody's trying to figure it out.
Yeah,
we're all working.
We're gonna put something on the stage.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll be necessarily until the day before, but we will put something on the stage.
And these guests have been great. I think they've been really awesome because they're, like you said, these are the hardcore.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I'll be on the first ship back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
they got back.
Yeah.
Where do you go from here? You're here till
I'm here until
April.
Yeah. So this is actually, I think this is my longest contract because I had a month of rehearsals and then it's 7 months on board. So it's a long time. So I'm here until April. We do this Alaska run and then we reposition down to Miami.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Which will be really fun. Yeah. And I think we don't have guests during that cruise. I'm not sure.
The crossing, if we're doing this now, the crossing is, if it works out that way.
Yeah.
The ship just goes to the other side of the country with no guests.
Yeah.
So it's just the crew and the cab. Yeah, it's everybody gets, and usually sometimes they'll open the restaurants. People, and I think that's cool because there's different crew like engine guys and stuff that don't get to do.
Yeah, you just like never see people. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
It'll be really cool.
I mean, as of right now, it's not being sold. Anything could happen, but I believe it's gonna be guest free for a couple weeks, which will be fun.
I think it would because it's still kind of unpredictable how you're getting over.
Exactly, and we don't know what the ports will be as well because like going from Seattle through the Panama Canal and then over to Miami is going to take a little while.
Yeah, right.
It's a big country.
Are you going to be able to go through the canal? Do you know that yet?
Yeah, I think so. I've done the Panama Canal on cruises like 3 or 4 times. It's fun.
It's really cool.
It's really fun. Yeah. I know my cabin on my last ship, we did the Panama Canal 4 or 5 times, and my cabin was on deck 4 with a window, which is deck 4 is basically just above the water line.
That's cool.
Going through the Panama Canal, I was literally in the canal. Like you could see the concrete on one side and then the water would come up and then we'd move to the next like locks. It was so cool.
It's such a trip. That's cool.
Yeah, my parents came to sail on a Panama Canal cruise. That was one of their bucket list things, and it was so cool. But we got off the ship because I did an excursion with my parents, so we like got off on one side of the canal, did an excursion, and then like joined the ship again. But we went to this like viewing station where you could see the canal and the locks, and standing there and seeing my ship sail away is the scariest feeling because I'm like, you're not supposed to see your ship when you're working on a cruise line.
Are you sure this is okay?
I know. I was like, my ship is going that way and I am here, and that's how you get fired, is missing the ship. So I was like, oh gosh. But it was really, really cool. Panama Canal is fun. It is fun.
I always feel bad going through the canal because they have a prison on one side of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So there's the people in the cruise, and there's these guys in prison. It's got to happen how many times a day? Another cruise ship. Yeah. Guys in prison. Could be the worst. Yeah. Like, sorry, you broke the law.
Yeah, so this will be interesting to get to do the canal without guests, because normally we like close off the decks to the crew so that the guests can see the canal. But this time we want to have guests. So we can all go
take videos and stuff. Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Cool. That'll be good and fast.
Yeah, it'll be really fun.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So how? All right. So after that, I know you don't know your next ship yet.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I'll definitely take a little vacation. Yeah. My nephew Teddy turns 3 like 2 days after I get home, so that'll be fun. I'll have a little birthday party.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I'll take a vacation. I'm probably, normally I take long vacations, like a couple of months, but I think I'll do a shorter one this time because I just want to get back to work.
Yeah, right.
So take a vacation and then whatever the next ship they send me to. So we'll see.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are your plans moving forward after how long you stay on ships?
I don't know. I always joke that I'll stay on ships until my safety certificates expire, which is next year. So I don't know, because I don't want to have to do the safety trainings again.
Right.
But I don't know. I always say I'll work on ships for as long as the pros outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
You know, and right now there's a lot of cons. Like you said, we can't get off the ship.
Right.
Things like that. But like,
I think a lot of that's going to balance out.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And like, frankly, you know, with some of my colleagues, the dancers and performers and things, like being able to be a full-time performer and not also have to be bussing tables or bartending, things like that.
Right.
Is just the biggest pro, you know, to be able to be a full-time entertainer. So I think I'm going to stick with it for as long as I'm able to. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, I hope you do, so I keep coming back and seeing you.
Yeah, no, you were on my very first week on my first
I know,
ship,
it's so cool when I found out you were coming here.
Yeah.
I was like, no way.
Yeah. No, I just love it. And like I get to learn new skills every contract and new show, you know, getting to say that I've stage managed Kinky Boots is like a huge one. But my last contract, I got to work with a lot of aerial and acrobat performers, and I realized I really have a passion for that kind of show as well, like cirque style, like
the
acrobats.
Right.
Yeah, it's very different from like Broadway musicals, but I really love it. My adrenaline's really high when I've got that kind of like high level like danger and acts like that. So I kind of want to get back to that as well. And I don't know, I've got a couple bucket list things that I still want to do while I'm on ships.
Here's the coolest thing I think about Norwegian, because I work a lot of different lines.
Yeah.
But Norwegian has some of the best shows. I mean, you like Kinky Boots. I mean, you pull in shows from Broadway, Cirque du Soleil. I mean, look at that. I mean, for the guests to be able to, I mean, on any given night, any week, you'll never so much entertainment in a week, but to be able to work on a show like that. How cool is that?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not on Broadway, but I'm stage managing a Broadway show. Yeah,
you know, and even more because like the backstage,
and I don't have to pay New York rent while I do it. So,
yeah, right.
Exactly.
And the backstage situation is so much like I was talking to Alan. Your wings, there's not a lot of room back there.
No. I mean, our stage is almost the width of the ship. You know, so there's not a lot of space back there. It's
and
tight.
there's a lot of people that Kinky Boots cast.
Yeah,
so
23 cast members, and then 10 technicians, wardrobe. It's a lot of people.
Right. I'm always surprised when I watch the show. I don't hear yelling from the back.
Yeah.
You just get on, stop it, shut up. Yeah,
they mouth it. They just yell it. It was funny. Last night I have monitors in the booth so that I can see what's going on backstage. A lot of the cast members don't realize I can see when they're goofing off backstage. But one of them like just did something silly, and I was on my comms talking to technicians. I was like, "Will you go like whack him in the head for doing that thing?" And he was like, "I didn't know you could see me." I said, "I can see everything.
I can see everything.
Everything back there.
I'm always here.
I'm always watching." But yeah, it's definitely you know, organized chaos back there.
No, that's cool though. But I love that. I think this is why a lot of, I'm not saying you, but a lot of people that came from, a lot of people in the entertainment, the organized chaos come from chaos growing up.
Yeah.
Like I had a weird, my dad, you know, this and, you know, family upbringing is always weird.
Yeah.
We just kind of attract, it's like a pattern for us. So if our normal life becomes organized chaos, it's actually some way of organizing the chaos that we've
totally. Well, it was funny. I was talking to one of my colleagues the other day, and I was like, you know, I've been this way since high school, maybe even earlier, that I can't single task. I can only multitask. Like if I'm not doing a couple of things, I probably,
I think everybody
I think everyone does, but I really can't do, like in high school, I would have to be watching TV to be able to focus on homework. Like if it was quiet, I couldn't do it.
Right.
And I think it's to have something that can distract one part of my mind. And I think that's why I love stage managing, because I've got about 6 people talking to me on my headset at once. I'm watching the show. I'm watching these monitors. Like it's so many things going on at once, and to be able to have all those inputs and then be able to produce the show is like, I think that's why it's a little bit of ADD, undiagnosed ADD, but I think that's why I love it so much, is because it's so many things happening at once, and being able to process it to get a show out there. It's definitely, it's organized chaos in here too.
I like, but that's why you end up in that. That's why you end up there.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any social media tags or plugs or anything you want people to find you on?
Really, I stay low key. I'm under the radar.
You're the first person I've had on the show that's very. Everyone else has got like, here's you can find me, my pictures, my Instagram.
I do have an Etsy shop, but it's closed until I get off the ship. Okay. But it's called Bibbidi Bobbles, and it's earrings that I see. I'm wearing my earrings.
Oh, right on. Okay.
But it's closed right now because I can't make earrings on a cruise ship. Right. But I did. That was my like side. It wasn't. I didn't make much money doing it, but it was my side hustle, my creative outlet.
Your side hustle, that's good though. You gotta have, everybody's gotta have a side hustle. That's
but
good.
yeah, no, I'm behind the scenes. You know?
Good. All right. All right. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for
this
being
was
here.
So much fun.
And thanks for calling to wake me up.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anytime. It's my job.
What the?
Yeah.
Turn that off. That was awesome.